In this video, we are going to learn about inequalities. Inequalities are like equations, except they compare two values that aren't necessarily equal. They might be, but they aren't always. And you've seen these before in elementary school with the different symbols that look like this. And you use them to compare two numbers and to decide which one was bigger. Now we're going to use them with variables. Okay, let's look at some examples. So let's say that we know that it will take 20 minutes or less for the bus to arrive. It might take exactly 20 minutes. Maybe it'll be 19, 18, 17, maybe it'll be 15, maybe it'll be 1. We don't know. It'll take 20 minutes or less. So first we're going to define a variable. That's going to be m for minutes left until the bus arrives. And then we're going to write an inequality. So we're going to say that m, the minutes, must be less than or equal to, hopefully you remember that symbol from elementary school, m is less than or equal to 20. And now we can also show that inequality on a number line. So we know it's 20 minutes or less. So I'm going to number my number line and make sure that 20 is on there. And I know that it could be 20 minutes until it arrives, or it could be any number less than 20, because it's 20 minutes or less. Now notice I've colored in the dot on the 20, because 20 is actually a possibility, and then I've drawn my line going down, and it's kind of nice to make that line a little bit thicker. Sometimes people might scribble it in a little bit. You can do that and make sure that arrow on this side is bigger. Using a different color is really nice. If that seems like too much work for you though, I understand, but some people really like making their work nice and colorful. This is a good opportunity to do that. Let's look at another example. Let's say that it was warmer than -6 degrees Celsius in Yellowknife, which is a place in very far northern Canada. And so now what we're talking about is temperature. So we're going to say T equals temperature. And we know it's warmer than -6 degrees. So that means it's not -6 degrees. It might be -5, might be -4, -3, -2, might be 5 degrees, might be 10 degrees, might be 50 degrees. Unlikely, but it's possible. We don't know. We just know it's warmer than -6. So we're going to say T is greater than -6. Notice I didn't put the line underneath this time because it's not equal to. It must be warmer than. And then we'll do our number line. And this time, since it's warmer than -6, -6 isn't actually an option, we're going to do an open dot on the -6 to show that that's called our boundary point, but it must actually be warmer than that. So the line goes up because it's more than, and then the dot is open. All right, so there's kind of a lot to remember here. Let's go ahead and make a chart to keep track of it all. So you're going to make a 4-column chart. You're going to title the first column symbol, the next one meaning, then graph and example. And the first, go ahead and pause so you get that set up. We're going to use our 4 symbols. So first we have the greater than symbol. So go ahead and draw that in. And this one means greater than. On a graph, we're going to do a open dot and then an arrow showing that it must be greater than the number, but it can't actually be the number. And our example is going to be x is greater than 5. And we have less than. So this is going to look the same but going the other direction. Less than, once again an open dot because the number itself is not a possibility. And we're going to say x is less than 5. And we're going to do greater than or equal to. Greater than or equal to. And you might sometimes see this referred to as at least. So there were at least 10 people, meaning there could be 10, 11, 12, 13. So this would show a closed dot because the number itself is possible and an arrow going up. And that would be x is greater than or equal to 10, let's say. And then same thing the other way, less than or equal to. Someone might call that no more than. There are no more than 3 people per boat. So here we would have a closed dot because the number itself is allowed and lower. So that would be x is less than or equal to 3. All right, so let's go ahead and do a practice problem. I want you to write an inequality statement. So for example, x is less than 100. And I want you to draw a graph, meaning a number line for the situation. So it takes no more than 5 minutes to walk to the store. Think carefully about what that means, what numbers could be possible. Try and write an inequality for it using one of our inequality symbols and a variable. And then graph your statement as well. We'll check this in class tomorrow.